Welcome! I'm your host, African Duta, and today we are asking the question, what can you not do alone? Let's take you to the stunning coastal region of Lindi in southern Tanzania. Specifically a rural area called Mtama. Lindi is beautiful, but being so remote can mean teachers often feel very isolated. Now, imagine you're Madam Oliva Soka. You've just been posted to a primary school in Mtama. So you leave the bustling city and you find
mara ya kwanza kiuhakika nilipofika Lindi kwa kweli nilijisikia vibaya.
For the first time in my life, when I arrived in Lindi, I truly felt bad. I was taken to a remote village where you could not even find a car to take you there. You'd have to use a motorbike. I felt like I had been abandoned.
She felt unprepared. And that physical isolation, it was just the beginning. Madam Oliver walked into her classroom holding only an entry-level teaching certificate. She was assigned to teach English, a language the students barely understood and one she struggled to teach without the right resources.
My very first day in the classroom, for sure, I found it very difficult. I forgot that I had now been posted to a government school, again in the village. I'd have to guide them slowly. I didn't think they'd even manage.
And this feeling? It's one many teachers face. Mr. Onesmo Samuel, a mentor and a fellow teacher in the district, knows that exact kind of loneliness.
There was a day when I was teaching them. You teach a student and then you see that they don't understand at all. So that's when I felt, why am I failing to do this? So it was really difficult for me. I felt lonely.
You can really feel the pain of the teachers who are trying to support children in their classroom. It's a heartbreaking kind of loneliness that affects our children's learning. Venance, who works for the Aga Khan Foundation to support teachers, recognized the challenges in Oliver's classroom and what this means for children's learning.
You can't believe at first, out of 50 students, it's only like there are not even 11 students who could pass between A and C, grade A and C.
I had now been posted to a government school, again in the village. I'd have to guide them slowly. I didn't think they'd even manage.
You teach a student and then you see that they don't understand at all. So that's when I felt, So
I found it very challenging at first.
You can't believe.
Why am I failing to do this?
But first,
I didn't think they'd even manage.
So it was really difficult for me. I felt lonely.
I felt like I had been abandoned.
I felt lonely.
When you feel stranded on an island, you need a bridge. And in Tanzania, that bridge came in the form of a government continuous professional development program called Mewaka and a grassroots micro-community movement known as ISeeYou.
Community for Learning.
Community for Learning is a variety of learning communities. It is a small thing that is within Mewaka, of which Mewaka is the main body. Now, there are small communities that can be created by teachers. Any session that we sit in for the purpose of learning anything, we call ISeeYou. But the whole package, which is the whole big plan, we call Mewaka.
Mewaka is the big plan. ISeeYou is the collective of teachers that meets right there at the school. But what does that look like on a typical Tuesday afternoon?
Sasa tukiwa tumepanga, let's say kwa mfano sisi kwa shuleni kwangu kila wiki tuna kikao kimoja.
Now that we have a plan, for example, at my school we have one ISeeYou session every week. Sometimes we can identify the learning gap or the challenge that the teacher is going through. Then we come to sit on that ISeeYou session and start looking for an experienced teacher.
From that weekly school meeting, teachers are introduced to a much larger, broader network. Madam Oliva Soka explains how a new educator joins this collective and grows with a network.
Ikiwa ni mwalimu mgeni tunaanzia hapo hapo shuleni.
If you're a new teacher, you start right there at school because we already have our own community. You start by joining right there at school, and then you will continue to advance yourself according to our programs. The Community for Learning for us was in the school program. There is a ward program and there is a divisional program, all the way to the district.
So, how does a massive government plan like Mewaka reach a remote village? It needs a pulse. It needs local champions. Before mentoring others, Mr. Onesmo joined hands-on workshops where Mewaka partnered with local organizations to bring policy to life.
Mewaka ni mpango endelevu.
Mewaka is a continuous teachers' professional development program. While the teacher is still in service, they are expected to keep learning as well. And good enough, Aga Khan Foundation brought about workshops within Mewaka that built the capacities of teachers, myself included, so that I too can build the capacity of others.
That's the magic phrase. Building his capacity so he can build others.
Nikaona kuna engo pia ya kuweza.
So I saw that there was also an angle to be able to conduct training for teachers in my area, especially in the Mtama Council where I come from.
Training his peers in Mtama. That is the trickle-down effect in action. One day, Madam Oliva was invited to one of Onesmo's workshops where she was introduced to this community. Suddenly, she didn't feel so alone anymore.
Kuna semina moja tulifanya ya
I remember there was a workshop we held. It was a ward workshop. A teacher from another ward came as an invitee to our meeting. He informed us that there was something like this going on. There was an ongoing community for learning. That's when I joined.
Napenda sana nipate ujuzi zaidi.
And I found it very exciting because I always want to gain more experience on ways I can help children better.
Through GSK, these isolated teachers started connecting. And they did not just meet in person. They used whatever technology they had.
They could be using like a Zoom calls where they meet, they discuss, they interact. They always share within the group. They also had the mentorship within the group because there are some teachers who are more experienced.
But here's a special ingredient. For a network to actually work, you have to be brave enough to admit what you don't know. And Madam Oliva, she's fearless.
Kwenye swala zima mimi la ufundishaji.
In my entire experience of teaching, I have never felt ashamed. Because if I feel ashamed, I'm going to lose the children completely. For example, when we meet as teachers, especially English teachers, I tell them, look, I can teach parts of speech, but I can't teach tenses. I am usually very honest.
Okay, so the teachers are connected. The bridge is built. But a great teacher means absolutely nothing if the classroom is empty. And in Mtama, keeping children in school was a huge challenge. Financial difficulties and lack of faith in the education system meant parents were taking children out of school to work. Enter the Sauti ya Elimu na Mazingira, or the Voice of Education and Environment. They are a passionate collective of parents and community members who literally go door to door to support parents who are struggling to keep their children in school. Fatma, the group secretary, remembers knocking on the door of a parent whose child had missed 3 weeks of school.
One day, a group of us went there. There were about 5 of us. We arrived and knocked.
Karibuni, tukaingia ndani, tukasalimiana naye, tukajitambulisha.
Our concern was, why isn't the child going to school? Oh, the parent was very angry. We tried to calm down and we started talking gently.
Oh, the parent was furious. But Fatma's group did not judge. They acted as a shield for the student. They realized the issue wasn't just attitude, it was resources.
Si tukamshauri tukamwambia hivi.
We said, we will help you. Be it books, be it bags, school contributions, and other things. The fees that are needed, even money for meals, we will help you.
They try to address every concern parents have. And the result? Just ask Dixon, their treasurer.
Mpaka kufikia sasa.
So far, we thank God. It's not a very big number and not a very small one, but it's around 50 or so.
50 students back in the classroom. That is an enormous victory. So, what happens when you combine an empowered teacher, a supportive community, and local government officials who actively champion inclusive education and partnerships? Well, remember Madam Oliva's classroom? The one where hardly anyone could pass English. Through her GSK mentorship with Mr. Onesmo, everything changed.
Between 59 students, almost like 27 students were able to get A, B, and C. And it is their first time to witness a student getting an A in English.
Yes! But they did not stop at good grades. Mr. Onesmo and Madam Oliva brought the world into their students' classroom.
I told the teacher to connect the projector there and then use the link. And Madam Soka also put her students on. They're speaking from School A and School B. So it was an experience that they themselves will never forget because it had never happened there before.
Rural students debating urban students in English, live, over Zoom. Because of a network, because of a system, because of a community. And Madam Oliva, she doesn't feel thrown away anymore.
Kwa kweli zimebadilika.
Yeah, truly there's change. And I'm happy that now I'm able to stay in Lindi and bring change to the children of Lindi, my fellow Tanzanians, to love education. Maybe one day I'll hear a student say, I studied at that place and she was my teacher. For sure, I'll be very proud.
In Uganda and Kenya, teachers there have also been stepping in where it's difficult to access professional support and expertise. In Uganda, tutors from the Teacher Training Institute and government officials are now supporting networks of over 100 teachers at a time, providing collective support through WhatsApp groups and individual one-on-one mentorship on the phone. What does this mean for teachers? Teachers can lean on each other, they can learn from one another. We have networks of inspired, energized teachers with mentors, parents, and the government, all supporting our children's learning across hundreds of schools and communities. And what does this mean for our children? Oliva has seen it in her own classroom. Students perform better, and now her students love learning. Everyone loves the idea of a single hero that swoops in to save a community all by themselves. But as you've seen, that's not how it happens in real life. So, I'll ask you the question we started with, so you too can think about it in your own life, in your own community. What can you not do alone? I'm your host, African Duta, and keep building those bridges.
See, the world won't change just cause I want it to. I've got to be the change that I want to see. Be more if I want more.